begin with the histology of the ovary. Now, there are two layers of tissues present in the ovary, the outer and then the middle, or the inner. The outer layer is also called by what name? Cortex. So, same with the adrenal gland, the cortex of the ovary is solid, such as that portion displayed. And then the medulla is softer than the cortex. That shown portion is the medulla already. So, what is the reason why the medulla is soft? Because of the presence of numerous blood vessels. So, you will need to memorize that appearance of connective tissue in the cortex. Okay? Yan, may spindle cells. Those aggregates, spindle cells which are tightly packed with each other. So this is the characteristic appearance of the cortex of the ovary. And then supposed to be, we are to be able to see an epithelium covering the surface of the ovary. So that epithelium is called the germinal epithelium, because before it was believed that the egg cells arise from the epithelium. However, later it was discovered that the epithelium is not actually the origin of the egg cells. Technically, what type of epithelium is the germinal epithelium? Simple cuboidal epithelium. So this is the connective tissue or the stroma that you need to memorize for the cortex of the ovary. And then, in the cortex, we will be able to see several stages of development of the egg cell. The most primitive is an oocyte, that is another oocyte. Notice that these two oocytes are encircled by squamous cells or flat cells. And because these two oocytes or egg cells are enclosed by simple squamous epithelium, they should be called first stage. Okay, the primordial follicle. And then following the primordial follicle is the primary follicle. How will you be able to distinguish the two from each other? So simple squamous, primordial for the primary. Okay, cuboidal na. Cuboidal. So it may be simple cuboidal, or as the oocyte develops, the simple epithelium will become stratified later. And then when you already see space inside the follicle, such as that, okay, fluid-filled cyst in a dilated follicle, the follicle will now become called secondary or antral follicle. And then the mature follicle is called Maramion follicle. So that is the appearance of an antral follicle. Unfortunately, we will not be able to see the egg cell in that antral follicle. Second ito yan. Antral follicle, meron siyang space sa gitna. Okay, meron siyang space sa gitna. And then, the egg cell will only be present in one side of the cyst. So, this slide is prepared from many slices. So, there may be a chance that that slice or many of the slices of the ovary will not show the egg cell, which is present in only one side of the antral cavity. So that is the appearance of the antral fluid. So after 28 days, when the Maramion follicle ruptures, what will happen to the follicle? It will become transformed into the corpus luteum. Now that is the appearance of the corpus luteum. So after rupture, okay, the follicle will become transformed into a corpus luteum. What hormone is released by the corpus luteum? Predominant progesterone. And then follicle, you will be able to see two layers of theca cells. Inner is theca interna, and then the outer is theca externa. So before the rupture of the follicle, these cells are responsible for releasing what hormone? In the first 14 days of the menstrual period, estrogen. After rupture, when the follicle becomes transformed into what happened? What is the structure responsible for releasing progesterone? Corpus luteum. Okay, the corpus luteum will now shift into the production of estrogen to progesterone. Now, okay, after 14 days, if there is no fertilization, what will happen to the corpus luteum is that it will become transformed into white bodies. So only the ovaries will contain these white structures, which will represent the degenerated granulosa cells. So these white bodies are called the corpus albicans. Corpus albicans, or the corpora albicans. So the degenerated forms of the corpus luteum. Okay? So this layer, because it contains numerous blood vessels, should be the cortex or the medulla? The medulla. And then whenever you see follicles, you should be looking at the cortex. So those are the important structures that you need to remember about the ovary. In the cortex, you will be able to see the stages of development of the oocytes. Okay, from primordial to primary to antral, and eventually to Maramion, and then after rupture, okay, so the Maramion follicle will become transformed into corpus luteum, such as those shown. And then, after 14 days, if there is no fertilization, the corpus luteum will become transformed into the corpus albicans, the characteristic appearance of a corpus albicans. That structure represents that. Now, during ovulation, which actually occurs at the 40th day of a regular 28-day menstrual cycle, the egg cell will become transported into what tubular structure? The fallopian tube. Okay? Now the fallopian tube is composed of 1, 2, 3 layers of tissues. And so you have the mucosa, muscularis, and the serosa. Okay? Now, the mucosa of the fallopian tube is thrown into many finger-like projections. Okay? One of the finger-like projections. Okay? And then, what is the lining epithelium? Columnar. And then, what are these hair-like structures? projecting from the surface of the epithelial cells. Cilia. What is the purpose for the presence of the cilia?
For movement of ovary.
Okay, to propel the egg cell. Actually, they also help propel the sperm cell. So, para ma-happy ang duha. Mag-mate ang duha. Okay? So, how do you call this connective tissue immediately underneath the epithelial tissue? This is a loose connective tissue. Lamina propria. This is the lamina propria serving as the core of the finger-like structures. Now, so you have the cilia. What is the purpose for the presence of these papillae or the finger-like projections? They will increase the surface area so that there will be more surface area for the ovaries to come into contact with the cilia. Okay? So you have the mucosa, which is composed of two tissues. The simple columnar epithelium and then the loose connective tissue, which is called specifically lamina propria. And then the muscular layer. Is there a pattern of arrangement for the smooth muscles in the fallopian tube? Tapos na kayo sa GI, di ba? Mayroong inner circular, outer longitudinal. How about in the muscular layer of the fallopian tube? Is there a pattern of arrangement? So kindly read on that. And then the outermost layer is called the serosa. So those are the structures that you need to identify for the histology of the fallopian tube. Now we go to the body of the uterus or the uterine corpus. How many layers of tissues are there? Three. Starting from the innermost endometrium, myometrium, and the perimetrium. So there are only two layers that are present in our slides. One layer is composed of that. No. That layer is composed of bundles of smooth muscle fibers. So that we should be looking at the myometrium. Myometrium. And then the innermost layer where you will be able to see glands. The endometrium. Now, okay, the endometrium will not have a constant appearance. So because the endometrium is responsive to the stimulatory effects of the hormones estrogen and progesterone. So during the first 14 days of the menstrual cycle, what will predominate is what hormone? Estrogen. Estrogen, what is the effect? What is the influence of estrogen to the endometrial glands? Remember, the first day of the menstrual cycle begins at what specific period of the menstrual cycle? How will you count, for the females, how will you count your day one of your menstrual period? If you have a 28-day menstrual cycle, day one begins at
First menstruation.
the first day of menstruation. Day one begins at the first day of menstruation. So, starting at day one, the ovaries will begin to release estrogen. Starting at day one, the ovaries will begin to release estrogen. And then the effect of estrogen is to stimulate proliferation of the glands. Because at day one of menstruation, the superficial layer of the endometrium will become detached, will become sloughed off. Okay, kaya mayroong bleeding per vagina because of the detachment of the superficial layer of the endometrium, which is specifically called functionalis. Very good. And then this layer, which is not shed off during menstruation, is called basale. Now, during proliferative phase, which is under the influence of estrogen, okay, the glands, so these are the endometrial glands, they are lined by what type of epithelium? Simple columnar epithelium, okay? the glands will appear straight and narrow. So, straight and narrow. So, that will be the characteristic of, those will be the characteristics of the endometrium in proliferative phase. If you want to see proliferative phase endometrium, just examine the basalis layer. Because the basalis will not respond to progesterone. It will always be in the proliferative phase. Now, this is the appearance of the glands during the secretory phase. Under the influence of what ovarian hormone? Progesterone. Look at the difference in the appearance and the size of the glands when or in the secretory phase, which is the, by the way, the functionalis will not always be in secretory phase. It will depend on the predominant ovarian hormone. So during the first 14 days, proliferative phase, ganito pa rin ang appearance ng endometrial glands in the functionalis layer. So for this uterus, this uterus must be in secretory phase under the influence of progesterone already, because the glands are now elongated and tortuous and dilated. So elongated, dilated, and then tortuous. Some of the glands are displaying their secretions already. Okay? They contain secretions already. So this is the appearance of the glands in proliferative phase, and then the basalis will always be in the proliferative phase. How do you call this blood vessel? In the basalis. Is it the straight or the spiral arteriole? Spiral arterioles are located in which layer? Functionalis or basalis? Oh, hindi na-discuss pa nyo sa lecture. Okay, and then this muscular layer is called the myometrium. Okay, so this is the appearance of the endometrial glands during secretory phase. This is the appearance of the endometrial glands during proliferative phase, which is always the activity of the basalis. It will always be in proliferative phase because it will not respond with progesterone. Next is the cervix. Where is the location of the cervix? In between the uterus and the vagina. Okay? Basically, the bulk of the cervix is composed of this connective tissue. Dense irregular connective tissue, dense to loose connective tissue, and then we will also be able to see smooth muscles in the cervix. And then the cervix is covered by two types of epithelium. Okay? The epithelium that is continuous with the epithelium of the vagina is this epithelium. Simple or stratified? Stratified is squamous. Now, yan siya ang nilagay na epithelium in the exocervix. Remember, the cervix is at the junction between the uterus above and then the vaginal canal below. So during sexual intercourse, the penis will be pounding on the exocervix. That is why it is covered by such type of epithelium. And then it is not keratinized. Why? You can just imagine kung keratinized ang cervix. Pag dito magpokpok ang glans penis, masamad or magka-friction, di ba? So that is why this portion of the female genital tract is not keratinized. Mga samad ang duha kung puro keratinized. Kaya try to feel the keratinized portion of your skin. It is rough. Kaya soft yan during internal examination. And then, how do you call the canal? The cervix? The os is the opening. of the internal os and then the external os. The endocervical canal. So the endocervical canal is lined by what type of epithelium? Simple columnar epithelium. Very good. And then the simple columnar epithelium invaginates to form the endocervical glands. Okay? Ito ngayon, ang mga endocervical glands. So these endocervical glands are mucus-secreting glands. Mucus-secreting glands. Now, for the females, if you can notice, if you are observant with your menstrual cycle, during the 13th, 14th, and 15th day of the menstrual cycle, the characteristic of the fluid secreted or released by this gland is more thin. Mas thin siya kumpara sa other days of the menstrual cycle na kung saan mas sticky ang mucus. During the 30th, 40th, and 50th day of the menstrual cycle, mas thin ang characteristic, ang consistency ng fluid. That is so in order to allow easy penetration of the sperm cell. Para madali lang makapasok ang sperm cells to the endocervical canal. So, okay, the endocervical glands. And then how do you call the junction between the simple columnar epithelium and the stratified squamous epithelium of the cervix? Yan. Okay, simple columnar, and then unfortunately na-erode na yung epithelium. Dapat continuous yan until the simple columnar epithelium meets the epithelium on the left, which is stratified squamous epithelium. Now, when you study OBGYN, okay, this part where the stratified squamous epithelium and the simple columnar epithelium is very important. How do you call this region? The squamo-columnar junction or the transitional zone. It is where most of the cancer of the cervix will develop, will originate. So why? To stress it in the transitional zone or the squamo-columnar junction are the stem cells for both types of epithelial cells. Stem cells are multiplying at a faster rate than the other cells of the body. That is why they are more at risk to acquire mutation that can cause eventually the development of a cancer. So do you already know what virus is associated with the development of cancer of the cervix?
Papilloma.
Okay, HPV. Human papilloma virus. So cervix is easily identified because you will be able to see two types of epithelium. Stratified squamous in the exocervix, and then in the endocervix, simple columnar, mucus-secreting epithelium. Last slide is the vagina, which is also lined by that type of epithelium. Stratified, squamous, and keratinizing. And then the connective tissue underneath the epithelium is specifically called what? Lamina propria. And then after the lamina propria is the muscular layer. Smooth or skeletal? Smooth or skeletal? May makita kayong striations o wala? Wala. So, smooth. Kung nakadinig na kayo ng muscle control. Oh, Kegels maneuver. Okay, the larger portion of the vaginal canal is supported with smooth muscles, such as those muscles shown. You have the muscular layer, the lamina propria, and then epithelium, which is you must give the complete answer in the practical in our quizzes or exam because we have already finished the study on epithelial tissues. It should be non-keratinized. Itong cervix na ito, most likely is infected with HPV. Mayroon siyang characteristic change. Anyway, this will be in your second year. However, just to give you an idea what happens to a squamous cell when it becomes infected with HPV is that these are the uninfected cells. Notice that the nucleus is surrounded by pink-colored cytoplasm. When a cell becomes infected by HPV, this is what happens to the cell. The nucleus will become surrounded by a clear halo or a clear space. So this is called coinocytosis, characteristic appearance of the cells infected with human papilloma virus. So for the females, it will be advisable if you are already sexually active to have a consult with your OBGYN para maka-pap smear. Because these initial changes in the development of cancer of the cervix can be detected in pap smear. Yung mga changes na ito. So do you have any questions? Okay, you can now study yourself.